Good evening. It's been over a week now since I saw the new Michael Moore movie called Capitalism, a Love Story. So I thought I'd offer my views on it. Now, I found it to be very typical Michael Moore-ish in a lot of senses. He tugs at the audience's emotion by using sad anecdotes, and in that way there's an element of propaganda to it that can lead the observer astray and to false conclusions by over-exaggerating the bad stuff and downplaying the good, and then over-exaggerating the good in the solution he proposes. That is a bit of a problem with Moore, unfortunately. However, the arguments he makes about our economic system in the United States couldn't be more dead on. Since the Reagan Revolution in 1980, we've seen stagnation of practically everybody below about the 80th income percentile, while more and more and more wealth is concentrated at the very top. Now that's not good for democracy. That results in a privileged elite class having too much power. We've seen the withering away of unions in this country, increased financial debt. So when you see these stories of people getting foreclosed and evicted who once were strong members of the middle class, it is a very serious symptom of a flaw in our system. Now, Michael Moore, in his movie, basically bashed capitalism as a whole, which is unfortunate because he doesn't seem to point out that the answer is reform rather than revolution. Now, that doesn't mean that the critiques that Karl Marx made 150 years ago were completely off the wall. A lot of what he said was very real. Class struggle and class conflict is a very real part of the economy today, and it has been for many, many years and probably will for as far as we know. And most important about that is the fact that there's something called a zero-sum game. Not all of economics is a zero-sum game, but there are zero-sum elements. And particularly when you have issues regarding the distribution of income, conflicts between bosses and workers, there is a very strong zero-sum game, and the outcome depends upon which side has more power and more skill. So that's the big issue. We need to re-establish the bargaining power of the working classes in America to fight for their fair share of the income if we want to see anything approaching economic justice return to this country. The scene at the very end, which showed, or near the end, which showed the workers at a plant in, I think it was Chicago, doing a sit-down strike, that was very, very, very powerful. It's actually kind of unfortunate that there wasn't, well, not for them, but I think that if there had been some degree of police repression of that sit-down strike, it might have provoked a more aggressive upsurge in pro-union and pro-class conflict activity and quicken public support for some sort of struggle from below, which is exactly what we need right now. Now, I used to be a very proud socialist years ago. I do not consider that feasible anymore. However, I still believe that even within the framework of capitalism, class conflict is an essential part, and the rights of the people on the bottom to fight for decency on the job and fairness is absolutely paramount if we want to make capitalism work for the people the way it was originally intended by Adam Smith. So what needs to change? Well, for one thing, we need to restore progressivity to the tax system. We need serious health care reform that will probably threaten corporate profits and insurance. We need debt and bankruptcy reform that doesn't throw people out on the streets. We need more generous income assistance programs for the working poor, as well as increasing the bargaining power of the working poor in order to change the distribution of income in this country. We need financial re-regulation to stop the kind of casino economics that got us into this mess over the past 10 to 20 years. And we need to do something about climate change and energy depletion now. It cannot wait. So this is a time for a serious fight back against the the legacy of the Reagan Revolution. It is time for people to stand up and just say no to Reaganomics and the whole philosophy that markets are always good and government's always bad. That we now know is not only bad morality, it's bad economics. It doesn't work for the majority of people, and it's time to cut the crap and get away from that philosophy and back towards something more balanced. It's also an agenda that would have made Adam Smith really, really proud. I actually consider myself more of a fan of Adam Smith than Karl Marx nowadays, because Smith, contrary to some of the portrayals of him as a big conservative hero, he was not. He was highly critical of concentrated corporate power, of inequality, and believed that you needed some sort of countervailing force in order to prevent plutocracy from getting out of hand. Well, we now know what that countervailing force is, and Mr. Moore could not have hit it more on the nail on this one. It is democracy. It is the voice of the people. It is power in numbers. It is organizing. It is collective bargaining. It is solidarity. All of these are essential components if we want to make America the land of opportunity once again for all. And with that, the dream of life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, everyone having equal rights, and being able to enjoy the quality of life will be much improved. It's an agenda that would have made Adam Smith very proud if he could come back to life and see us today. Thank you for listening. This is Carl Bonner signing off.